परमात्मदेवानां कमनात्मन्दरक्षसां पुरुषाणां देवतानामलाञ्छनं साध्यं सुरक्षितं युक्तं महिरणा योजितं वयं गृहाणमङ्गलं दीपं त्रैलोक्यं दिविरापणं भक्त्यादीपं प्रवक्ष्यामि देवाय परमात्मने स्वामिमान् नरकान् घोरादिव्यभ्यो नमोऽस्तु ते देवाराधनमुहूर्तस्सु मुहूर्तो अस्तु। गणानान्तवाङ्गनपतकम्पवाहमेकलिङ्गतेनाम्बवश्रवस्तवम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पदानशृण्वन्नोदिभिस्सेदसादनम् गणो देवे सरस्वती वाजे विद्वानमेव ते देनाममित्रयवतुः। ॐ महागणाधिपतये नमः नमस्करोमि। ॐ आशम्य हस्तौ प्रक्षालय केशवाय स्वाहा नारायणाय स्वाहा माधवाय स्वाहा हस्तौ प्रक्षालय। गोविन्दाय नमः विष्णवे नमः मधुसूदनाय नमः त्रिविक्रमाय नमः वामनाय नमः श्रीधराय नमः ऋषिकेशाय नमः पद्मनाभाय नमः दामोदराय नमः संकर्षणाय नमः वासुदेवाय नमः प्रद्युम्नाय नमः अनिरुद्धाय नमः पुरुषोत्तमाय नमः नारसिंहाय नमः अच्युताय नमः जनार्दनाय नमः उमेन्द्राय नमये नमः श्रीकृष्णाय नमः श्रीकृष्णपरब्रह्मणे नमः। प्राणायाम्य उत्तिष्ठन्तबोधविशाखा ये देशपौरोदेने ब्रह्मकल्पसमारभे प्रणवस्यापरब्रह्मऋषे परमात्मदेवता दैवे गायत्री चन्दहं प्राणायामविनियोगः। ॐ भूं ॐ वाह ॐ स्वाहा ॐ महाः ॐ जनाः ॐ तवाः ॐ सत्यं तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि यो नः प्रचोदयात् मा प्रचोदये वसोऽमृतं ब्रह्मभूर्भुवः वरो ममः अवापातदुर्दक्षयकारकपरमेश्वरस्य परमेश्वरमत्यर्थं शुभाभ्यां शुभे शोभने मुहूर्ते पृथिव्याम् अद्यः ब्राह्मणदेवराभ्येश्वेनवराहकल्पे देवस्वतमनोन्तरे कलयुगे प्रथमपादिक्रंशद्धैवेरमणकलुषेन्द्रकाण्डे अमेरिकायां पश्चिमवंशदिग्भागराजने माचने महानदयोर्पर्वतयोर्मध्ये नः अस्मिन् वर्तमाने व्यावहारिकक्षान्त्रमाणेन प्रभवादे षष्ठसंवत्सराणां श्रीशुभकृतनामसंवत्सरे दक्षिणायनेश्वरदुवे आषाढमासे शुक्लपक्षकुली एकादशम्यां शुभवासरेण शुभनक्षत्रेण शुभयोगेन शुभकरणये रङ्गनविषयस्वच्छायां शुभतिथौ अस्य यजमानस्यादिगोत्रोद्भवस्य नामधेयस्यमेव देवता जगत्कल्याणार्थं श्रीमान् श्रीमदहं गोत्रोद्भवस्य नामधेयस्यमेव श्रीमान् मन्दिरनामधेयस्य देवालयमेव अवरुद्धत्वेन लोककल्याणार्थं लोकसंक्षेमार्थं भगवद्देवतानुग्रहप्रसादबलसिद्ध्यर्थेन अस्मद्देवता श्रीमान् काश्यपगोत्रोद्भवस्य अस्माकं सौकुटुम्बस्य क्षेमस्थैर्धैर्यवीर्यौषधयाैरारोग्य ऐश्वर्यावरुद्ध्यर्थं धर्मात्मकाम्यमौषधमौषात्मरुद्ध्यर्थं श्रीविघ्नाधिपतिदेवतानुग्रहप्रसादबलसिद्ध्यर्थेन सायङ्कालसमयेन एकादशम्यां पर्वदिनसन्दर्भितसमयेन श्रीरमा सत्यनारायणव्रतमहत्यपूजां करिष्यमेव प्रारम्भितसमयेन महागणाधिपति आराधनं करिष्ये। तदङ्गेन कलशाराधनं करिष्यमेव कलशमुखे विष्णुकण्ठेन समाश्रितहं मूले तत्रस्तदा ब्रह्ममाध्ये मात्रमस्ताः वृक्षौ सागर सर्वे सप्तदेवेव सुन्दरे ऋग्वेदोदप्रजुरवेदसामवेदोगदार्वण अङ्गैक्यसहिता सर्वे कलशान्तसमाश्रिताः आयन्तदुर्दक्षयकारका आकलशेषु तावते पवित्रे पदचित्तरे रत्नये दाकेषु वर्धते अवोवायकं सर्वं विश्वा भूतान्यावः प्राणावानवहं पशवावो नमो कृतमावो सम्प्राडावो विराडावो सर्वाडावो जन्तागस्सावसत्यमावहं सर्वा देवता देवतामावो भूर्भवस्सवरापवों गङ्गे जयवने कृष्णे गोदावरि सरस्वते नर्मदे सन्त कावेरी जलैस्मिन् सन्निधिपुरकलशोदकेन देवानां कलशोदकेन आत्मानां कलशोदकेन हम पूजा द्रव्याणं सम्प्रोक्षमेव गायामि दानं समर्पयामि आवाहयामि आवाहनम् आसनं समर्पयामि पादयो आर्घ्यं समर्पयामि हस्तयो आर्घ्यं समर्पयामि औपचारिकस्नानं समर्पयामि शुद्धोदकविशेषस्नानं समर्पयामि स्नानान्तरेण शुद्ध आचमनीयं समर्पयामि अलङ्करणार्थेन अक्षतान् समर्पयामि अभिवस्त्रोपवस्त्रार्थेन अक्षतान् समर्पयामि यज्ञापवीरं परमं पवित्रं प्रजापतेर्यः सहजं पुरस्तात् आयुष्यमुग्रमृतं च शुभ्रं यज्ञापवीरन्तमस्तु देह यज्ञापवीरनार्थेन अक्षतान् समर्पयामि गन्धं हरिद्रकाचूर्णं समर्पयामि कुङ्कुमलेपनं समर्पयामि नानाविध परिमलपत्रपुष्पाक्षतान् समर्पयामि पुष्पैः समर्पयामि वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा ओम महागणाधिपतये नमः सुमुखाय नमः एकदन्ताय नमः कपिलाय नमः गजगन्धकाय नमः लम्बोदराय नमः विकटाय नमः विघ्नराशाय नमः धूमकेतवे नमः गजाननाय नमः गणाध्यक्षाय नमः बालचन्द्राय नमः वक्रतुण्डाय नमः शूर्पकर्णाय नमः हेरम्भाय नमः स्कन्दपूर्जाय नमः ओम महागणाधिपतये नमः देवतादिव्यनानाविध परिमलपत्रपुष्पाक्षतान् समर्पयामि अदद्धूपमाग्रावयामि धूपं समर्पयामि वनस्पत्युद्भवै नानागन्धे सपञ्चराग्रे सर्वदेवानां धूपोऽयं पितृह्यतां धूपमाग्रावयामि धूपं समर्पयामि साक्षात् दीपं सन्दर्शयामि धूपदीपानन्तरेण शुद्ध आचमनीयं समर्पयामि नैवेद्यम् ॐ भूर्भुवस्सवाः तत्सवितर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य देवतयो यो नः प्रचोदयात् रुदन्तसत्येन परिषिञ्चामि अमृतमस्तमृतावस्त्रमसि ॐ प्राणाय स्वापानाय स्वं ध्यानाय स्वं उदानाय स्वं समानाय स्वाहं ब्रह्मणे स्वाहा मध्ये मध्ये पानीयम् अमृतविधानवसूत्तरापोषणं पादौ प्रक्षालयामि हस्तौ प्रक्षालयामि मुखौ प्रक्षालयामि आचमनं समर्पयामि श्रीविघ्नाधिपतये नमः देवतादिव्यमननिवेदनं समर्पयामि फलत्ताम्बूरणार्तेन भूमिफलयेच्च कर्पूरे नाथमल्लितलेवतं मुक्ताचूर्णसमायुक्तं ताम्बूलं पितृयतां फलदक्षिणताम्बूलं समर्पयामि फलमङ्गलधीरा आचनं ददातिः ॐ सुभगच्छैकदन्तच्छाकविलोकजगन्तकालम्बोदरश्चो विघ्नराजो गणाधीप धूमकेतर्गणाध्यक्षवालचन्द्रो गजानन वक्रतुण्डाय विद्महे देवताभ्यो नमः महागणाधिपतये नमः मङ्गलधीरा आचनं सन्दर्शयामि जय बोलो गणेश महाराज की जय अदमङ्गलधीरा आचनं सन्दर्शयामि नीराजनन्तरेण शुद्ध आचमनीयं समर्पयामि नैवेद्यं समर्पयामि अददेवता वेदोक्तदिव्यमन्त्रपुष्पाणि समर्पयामि एकदन्तं चतुर्हस्तं पाशमङ्कुशधारणं तदञ्चलरतम् अष्टैर्विद्धानमूषकध्वजं रक्तं लम्बोदरं शोर्पगन्धकं रक्तवाससं रक्तगन्धारवित्ताङ्गं रक्तपुष्पैः सुपूजितं भक्तानकम्पिनं देवं जगद्धारणमक्षुदम् आवेद्भूतं च सृष्टौतौ प्रकृतेः पुरुषात्परम् एवं ध्यायते यो नित्यं स योगी योगिनाम्बरः ॐ नमो व्रातपतये ॐ नमो गणपतये ॐ नमः प्रमदपतये नमस्ते अस्तु लम्बोदराय एकदन्ताय विघ्नविनाशिने शिवसुताय वरदमूर्तये एकदन्ताय विद्महे वक्रतुण्डाय धीमहि तन्नो दन्त्यः प्रचोदयात् समर्पयामि अदभूदेवताभ्यो नमः प्रदक्षिणं कृत्ते नमो नमस्कारान् समर्पयामि तस्मं नृत्याजनयोक्तपूज क्रियाशून्योनं सम्पूर्णतायुक्ति सन्भवन्दे नमच्युतं मन्त्रहीनं क्रियाहीनं भक्तिहीनं गणाधीप यत्पूजितं मया देव परिपूर्णं तदस्तु मे श्रीविघ्नाधिपतये नमः देवतादिव्यश्रोणपचारपूजां समर्पयामि श्रीविघ्नाधिपतिदेवता सम्पूर्णता फलसिद्ध्यर्थे नमः गणाधिपतिदेवता प्रसादं शिरसा गृणातु भगवता अनुग्रहप्रसादफलसिद्धिरस्तु तदङ्ग अत्वेन आदित्यादिनवग्रहादिदेवतानवग्रहमण्डपाराधनं करिष्ये आदित्याय च सोमाय मङ्गलाय बुधाय च गुरुशुक्रशनित्वच्चराहमेकेतवे नमः आदित्यादिनवग्रहादिदेवताभ्यो नमः नमस्करोमि सूर्यग्रहाणाम् ॐ आकृष्णेन सोमत्तमानो नमेशन्नं मृतं मत्तञ्जः हिरण्येन सविदारदेन देवो याद्भुवनानवश्यहं सूर्यग्रहाणां मध्यस्थानेन आवाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि सूर्यग्रहादिदेवता अधिदेवता प्रत्यधिदेवतानाम् आवाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि सूर्यग्रहादिदेवता अधिदेवतानाम् अग्निः प्रत्यधिदेवतानां रुद्रमावाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि सूर्यग्रहादिदेवताभ्यो मध्यस्थानेन आवाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि चन्द्रग्रहाणाम् आग्नेयविद्भागस्थानेन आप्यायस्य स्वसमयस्तुते विश्वतस्वमनुष्ठियं उपावायस्य सङ्गते चन्द्रग्रहाणाम् आग्नेयविद्भागस्थानेन आवाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि चन्द्रग्रहादिदेवता अधिदेवतानाम् अपां प्रत्यधिदेवतानां गौरीमावाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि चन्द्रग्रहादिदेवता अधिदेवता प्रत्यधिदेवतानाम् आवाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि अङ्गारकग्रहाणां दक्षिणदिग्भागस्सैनेन अग्नन्मोत्थागवत्पदे पृथिव्यः अयम् अवागं वेदागं सुचिन्तते अङ्गारकग्रहाणां दक्षिणदिग्भागस्सैतेन आवाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि अङ्गारकग्रहादिदेवता अधिदेवतानां पृथ्विः प्रत्यधिदेवतानां क्षेत्रपालकमावाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि कुलग्रहाणां ईशान्यदिग्भागस्थानेन ॐ बुद्धस्वाग्ने प्रजानुयेन विष्टाभूते सकं सृजेन वियन्तः पुनः कृण्वद्गस्तावतरं युवानामान् प्राताकं सेप्रियदन्तमेदं कुलग्रहाणाम् ईशान्यदिग्भागस्थानेन आवाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि कुलग्रहादिदेवता अधिदेवतानाम् इन्द्रमरुत्तन्तं प्रत्यधिदेवतानां ब्रह्मणमावाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि गुरुग्रहाणाम् उत्तरदिग्भागस्थानेन ॐ बृहस्पते अदेतर्योगः अर्थमद्यवादकृतवज्जनेषु यद्येदयादिवसत्यन्तदास्मासद्रविणं देहि चित्रं गुरुग्रहाणाम् उत्तरदिग्भागस्थानेन आवाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि गुरुग्रहादिदेवता अधिदेवतानाम् इन्द्रमरुत्तन्तं प्रत्यधिदेवतानां ब्रह्मणमावाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि शुक्रग्रहाणां प्राग्दिग्भागस्सैतेन ॐ शुक्रन्तेऽन्यद्भुजिरन्तेऽन्यद्दुषरूपेहानिभ्योरिवासि विश्वाहिमागसस्पदापुत्रादेवोषन्निहरातिरस्तु शुक्रग्रहाणां प्राग्दिग्भागस्सैतेन आवाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि शुक्रग्रहादिदेवता अधिदेवतानाम् इन्द्राणिः प्रत्यधिदेवतानाम् इन्द्रमावाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि शनिग्रहाणां पश्चिमदिग्भागस्सैतेन ॐ शवग्रदग्धविस्तरच्छन्दस्तवतु सूर्याः शम्भनो वात्मनपश्यतहं शनिग्रहाणां पश्चिमदिग्भागस्सैतेन आवाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि शनिग्रहादिदेवता अधिदेवतानां प्रजापतिं प्रत्यधिदेवतानां यमम् आवाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि राहुग्रहाणां ऋतुदिग्भागस्सैतेन ॐ कया नक्षत्रापवादूतिस्सदावृतस्तः कया षष्ठयावृताः राहुग्रहाणां ऋतुदिग्भागस्सैतेन आवाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि राहुग्रहादिदेवता अधिदेवतानाम् आवाहयामि प्रत्यधिदेवतानाम् अपमृत्युमावाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि राहुग्रहादिदेवता अधिदेवता प्रत्यधिदेवतानाम् आवाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि केतुग्रहाणां वायुव्यदिग्भागस्सैतेन ॐ केतुं कृण्वन्न केतवे मत्यो अमेषसे समशत्रजायुधाः केतुग्रहाणां वायुव्यदिग्भागस्सैतेन आवाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि केतुग्रहादिदेवता अधिदेवतानां ब्रह्मणमावाहयामि प्रत्यधिदेवतानां चित्रगुप्तम् आवाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि अधिदेवता प्रत्यधिदेवतस्सैतः अष्टदिक्पालकदेवताभ्यो नमध्येवत्फलाकारमण्डलमादित्यायः साङ्गं सायुधं सवाहनं सुशक्तिं पत्नीपुत्रपरिवारसमेतं पुत्रादिदेवताभ्यो नमः इन्द्रमावाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि आग्नेयस्थानेन अग्निदेवता साङ्गं सायुधं सवाहनं सुशक्तिं पत्रपुत्रपरिवारसमेतम् आग्नेयस्थानेन अग्निमावाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि साङ्गं सायुधं सवाहनं सुशक्तिं पत्रपुत्रपरिवारसमेतम् दक्षिणस्थानेन यमम् आवाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि साङ्गं सायुधं सवाहनं सुशक्तिं पत्रपुत्रपरिवारसमेतम् नैऋत्यदिग्भागेन ऋतुमावाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि साङ्गं सायुधं सवाहनं सुशक्तिं पत्रपुत्रपरिवारसमेतम् पश्चिमदिग्भागेन वर्णमावाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि साङ्गं सायुधं सवाहनं सुशक्तिं पत्रपुत्रपरिवारसमेतम् वायुव्यदिग्भागेन वायुमावाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि उत्तरदिग्भागस्थानेन साङ्गं सायुधं सवाहनं सुशक्तिं पत्रपुत्रपरिवारसमेतम् कुबेरमावाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि ईशान्यदिग्भागस्थानेन साङ्गं सायुधं सवाहनं सुशक्तिं पत्रपुत्रपरिवारसमेतम् ईशान्यदिग्भागस्थानेन ईशान्यमावाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि आदित्यादिनवग्रहादिदेवता अधिदेवता प्रत्यधिदेवतसहित अष्टदिक्पालकदेवतसहितः पञ्चलोकपरिपालकदेवताभ्यो नमः ॐ गणानान्तवाङ्गनमदकं वाहवे कविं कवीनामपुष्पवस्तवं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणस्पदानः शृण्वन्नोतिविश्वेदसादनं हनुमतिमावाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि उत्तरदिग्भागस्थानेन लोकपरिपालकदेवताभ्यो नमः श्रीमहाविष्णुदेवताभ्यो नमिदं विष्णुर्विचक्रमे त्रेदानितदेवतं समोढकमस्यं सुरे विष्णुमावाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि वाग्दिग्भागस्थानेन वेदात्मनाय विद्महे हिरण्यगर्भाय धीमहि तन्नो ब्रह्म प्रचोदयात् ब्रह्मणमावाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि दक्षिणदिग्भागस्सहितेन लयकारकदेवता रुद्रदेवताभ्यो नमः तत्पुरुषाय विद्महे महादेवाय धीमहि तन्नो रुद्रप्रचोदयात् रुद्रमावाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि गोत्रदिग्भागस्थानेन शक्तिर्देवता दुर्गादेवताभ्यो नमः दुर्गामावाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि अधिदेवता प्रत्यधिदेवतसहित अष्टदिक्पालकदेवतसहितः पञ्चलोकपरिपालकदेवताभ्यो नमः आवाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि ध्यायामि ध्यानम् आवाहयामि आवाहनम् आसनं समर्पयामि पादयोर्घ्यं समर्पयामि हस्तयोर्घ्यं समर्पयामि औपचारिकस्नानं समर्पयामि शुद्धोदकभिषेकस्नानं समर्पयामि ॐ प्रधानकलशदेवताभ्यो नमः अथ प्राणप्रतिष्ठापनं करिष्ये अस्य श्रीप्राणप्रतिष्ठापनमहामन्त्रस्य ब्रह्मविष्णुमहेश्वरऋषयः ऋग्यजस्सामादरमणजन्तांसे प्राणशक्तिः परादेवता आं बीजं ह्रीं शक्तिः क्रों कीलकं प्रधानकलशदेवताभ्यो नमः देवताभ्यो नमः गणपतिमावाहयामि लक्ष्मीगणपतिमावाहयामि आदित्यादिनवग्रहमावाहयामि अधिदेवतप्रत्यधिदेवतमावाहयामि अष्टदिक्पालकमावाहयामि पञ्चलोकपरिपालकमावाहयामि श्री रमा सत्यनारायण स्वामी आवाहयामि स्थापयामि पूजयामि ॐ आपोविष्टामयोपवहस्तानमूर्च्छेददातनं महेरणाय चक्षसे योमश्वपदवोरसः तस्य वाजैतेन हंपुषदैरवमातरः तस्मारङ्गमामभो यस्वक्षयाय चिन्तद आपो जनयदाचन शुद्धोदकभिषेकस्नानं समर्पयामि अधपञ्चामृत अभिषेकस्नानम् ॐ आप्यायस्य स्वसमे स्तुते विश्वदस्वामनुष्ठेयं भवावाजस्य सङ्गते क्षीरोदके अभिषेकस्नानं समर्पयामि तदिक्रामन्नो अकारिशं जिष्णोरश्यस्य वाजनः सुरविनामकाकर्पण आयोगक्षदार्शतु तदि अभिषेकस्नानं समर्पयामि कृतं कृतक्षीरे कृतमस्ययो निकृते श्रुतोकृतमवස්සदामः अनुशवमावहं हृदयस्य स्वाहा कृतं वृषभपक्षव्याः कृताभिषेकस्नानं समर्पयामि मदवातारदाय देवदक्षरन्ति सिन्धवः पाद्विष्णो सन्तोषदमदरक्तमतोषसे मदमत्पाद्रकं तुजं मदद्धौदन्तनः पिताः मदमान्दा वनस्पते मदमागम् अस्तु सूर्याः पाद्भिर्गावोपवन्तनः मदोऽभिषेकस्नानं समर्पयामि स्वादत्पवस्य दिव्याय जन्मने स्वादरिन्द्राय स्वमवेदनाम्ने स्वादर्मित्राय वरुणाय वायवे बृहस्पते मदमागम् आदाव्याः शर्कर अभिषेकस्नानं समर्पयामि पञ्चामृत अभिषेकस्नानं समर्पयामि स्नानान्तरेण शुद्ध आचमनीयं समर्पयामि अलङ्करणार्थेन अक्षतान् समर्पयामि अभिवस्त्रावस्त्रार्थेन नूतनवस्त्रयुग्मं समर्पयामि यज्ञापवैदं परमं पवित्रं प्रजापतेर्यः सहजं पुरस्तात् आयुष्यमुद्रमृतं च शुभ्रं यज्ञापवेदं परमस्तु तेजः यज्ञापवेदनार्थेन अक्षतान् समर्पयामि गन्धं समर्पयामि गन्धद्वारां करालकृशं नित्यपुष्टाङ्करेशिने ईश्वरेकं सर्वभूतानां तदिहोपव्यहे श्रियं गन्धं हरिद्रकाचूर्णं समर्पयामि कुङ्कुमविलेपनं समर्पयामि नानाविध परबलपत्रपुष्पाक्षतान् समर्पयामि पुष्पैः समर्पयामि वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा ॐ महागणाधिपतये नमः नमस्करोमि आदित्यादिनवग्रहादिदेवताभ्यो नमः नमस्करोमि अष्टदिक्पालकदेवताभ्यो नमः नमस्करोमि पञ्चलोकपरिपालकदेवताभ्यो नमः नमस्करोमि प्रधानकलशदेवताभ्यो नमः नमस्करोमि हरिः ओम् सहस्रशीर्षं देवं विश्वाक्षं विश्वशम्भुवं विश्वं नारायणं देवमक्षरः परमं पदं विश्वदः परमाद्यर्थं विश्वं नारायणकं हरिं विश्वमेवेदं पुरुषस्वद्दिष्टमपजीवते पदं विश्वस्याद्येश्वरकं शाश्वतकं शिवमच्युतं नारायणं महाज्ञेयं विश्वात्मानं परायणं नारायणपरं ज्योतिरात्मा नारायणपरः नारायणपरब्रह्मं दत्तं नारायणपरः नारायणपरो ध्यानं नारायणपरः यच्च किञ्चित् जगत्सर्वं दृश्यते श्रूयते भवः अन्तरवहिच्च तत्सर्वं व्याप्तं नारायणस्थितः अनन्तमव्यकं कविकं समुद्रेत्तं विश्वशम्भुवं पद्मकोशप्रकाशकं हृदयं चाप्यतोमुखम् अदो निष्ठाविदस्यान्तेनाभ्यामपरतिष्ठते ज्वालमालाकुलं भाते विश्वस्यायतनं महदो सन्ततकं जलानिस्थलं पद्याघोषसन्दिभं तस्यान्ते सुशिरकं सूक्ष्मं तस्मिन् सर्वं प्रतिष्ठितं तस्य मध्ये महानग्निर्विश्वाक्षिर्विश्वदामकः स्वाग्रवक्प्रवजानिष्ठन्नाहारमजरः कविः तेर्यगोत्तमदशायारश्मयस्तस्य सन्ततः सन्धावैनि स्पन्देहा मामानतलमस्तकः तस्य मध्ये वैनिजिका अनियोऽध्यामुपस्थितः वेदतो निरमध्यस्यादित्युल्लेखेन भास्वर देवानुशोकमत्तन्मे वेदावा आस्वत्तनोपमा तस्या आशिकाय मध्ये परमा आत्मा व्यवस्थितः स ब्रह्मा स शिवः स हरिस्सेन्द्रः सोऽक्षरः परमस्वराणु नारायणाय विद्महे वासुदेवाय धीमहि तन्नो विष्णुप्रचोदयात् श्रीमन्नारायणदेवताभ्यो नमः रमासत्यनारायणस्वामिने नमः देवतादिव्यषोडशोपचारपूजां समर्पयामि अदद्धूपमाग्रावयामि धूपं समर्पयामि साक्षात् दीपं सन्दर्शयामि धूपदीपानन्तरेण शुद्ध आचमनीयं समर्पयामि अवसरणैवेद्यं निवेदयामि ॐ भूर्भुवस्सवाः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि यो नः प्रचोदयात् सत्यं त्वारुतं तु सत्येन प्रतिचिन्तामि अमृतमस्तमृतमस्तमंसि श्रीरमा सत्यनारायणस्वामिने नमः प्राणाय स्वाहा अपानाय स्वाहं व्यानाय स्वाहं उदानाय स्वाहं समानाय स्वाहं ब्रह्मणे स्वाहा मध्ये मध्ये पानीयम् अमृतविचारुसुत्तरापोषणं पादौ प्रक्षालयामि हस्तौ प्रक्षालयामि मुखौ प्रक्षालयामि आचमनं समर्पयामि श्रीरमा सत्यनारायणस्वामिने नमः दिव्यः फलनिवेदनं समर्पयामि अदत्ताम्बूलनाथेन पूगेवलैश्चकर्पूरैर्नागमल्लतलेरथं भक्ताचूर्णसमायुक्तं ताम्बूलं प्रतिगृह्यतां फलदक्षिणताम्बूलं समर्पयामि अधमङ्गलनीरा आचनं ददाति श्रियस्कान्ताय कल्याणदये निदयेऽस्तिना श्रीवेङ्कटनिवासाय श्रीनिवासाय मङ्गलं लक्ष्मीचरणलाकां साक्षात् श्रीवत्सवक्षते क्षेमङ्कराय सर्वेषां श्रीरङ्गेशाय मङ्गलं बोलो सत्यनारायण भगवान की जय। जय श्री कृष्ण।
जय श्री कृष्ण।
कैसे माँ?
बस
अथ देवताभ्यो नमः दिव्यः षोडशोपचारपूजां समर्पयामि। श्री रमा सत्यनारायण भगवान की जय। पूजा तदनन्तरेण तदाशक्तेन श्री रमा सत्यनारायण स्वामिने नमः। सत्यदेव व्रतमहत्य पूजां करिष्ये। एकदा नैमिषारण्ये ऋषयौ शौनकादयः प्रपक्षुरानदं सर्वे सूतं पौराणिकं कलुः। श्री रमा सत्यनारायण स्वामी की जय। Sri Rama Satyanarayana Swami, first chapter. Once Shaunaka and 88,000 other rishis assembled at the forest Naimisharanya. They asked Maharshi Suta, the narrator of the Purnas, O Maharshi, please tell us how mankind can attain salvation. Maharshi Suta answered, once Narada Muni asked Lord Vishnu the same question. I will tell you what Lord Vishnu told Narada, so listen carefully. Once Narada, during one of his travels to the various of world, came to earth. There he saw the people suffering as a result of their past deeds. To reduce their suffering and bring them salvation, Narada went to Vishnu. There he found Lord Vishnu decorated with Shankha, Chakra, Gada and lotus, his 4 hands and garland around his neck. Narada spoke humbly, O Supreme Lord, the Savior of the poor and the troubled, I surrender at your feet. Lord Vishnu asked Narada, why have you come here? Tell me what you want and I will fulfill your wishes. Narada replied, O Bhagavan, people on earth are suffering in many ways as a result of their own past and sinful deeds. Kindly reveal to me a way help them. Lord Vishnu replied, O Narada, mankind can rid itself of all its sorrows by performing a puja called Satyanarayana Puja. When performed properly, this puja will bring happiness, peace of mind and wealth in this life and salvation they earn. On hearing this, Narada was filled with joy and addressed Lord Vishnu, O Lord, please tell me the details of the puja that you just mentioned, when to perform, how to perform, and who has performed it before. Lord Vishnu answered, this puja can be performed any month on a full moon day or Ekadashi. One must gather his friends and relatives perform the puja with devotion. He should offer fruits, ghee, milk, curd, butter, wheat flour, sugar and honey to the god. After the puja is over, he must read the Satyanarayana Katha and distribute prasad to everybody. When performed in this manner, this puja will bring fulfillment of one's wishes. Particularly in the Kali Yuga, this puja brings contentment. Sri Rama Satyanarayana Bhagavan ki jai. Pradhamadhyayam samapte Aramangalanebhajanam sandarshayami. Dutiyodhyaya prarambitaha. Maharshi Suta continued addressing the assembled rishis. O rishis, I will tell you about the people who performed the Satyanarayana Puja in the past. Once there lived a very poor Brahmin in the beautiful city of Kashi. He did not have food to eat. He used to wander in search of food every day. Lord Vishnu took the form. An old man appeared before the poor Brahmin and asked, friend, why are you wandering aimlessly? The poor Brahmin replied, sir, I am very poor Brahmin. man, unable to bear the hunger. I beg for alms. Sir, can you please show me a way out of this misery? Lord Vishnu, who was the voice of the old man, replied, O Brahmin, Lord Satyanarayana grants his devotees wishes and removes their sorrows. So you should perform his puja and reap its benefits. Lord Vishnu then explained the details of the Satyanarayana Vrata to the poor Brahmin and disappeared. The poor Brahmin immediately decided to perform the puja. After a sleeping night, he got up early in the morning and went to beg alms. His mind was fixed only one thing, namely the Satyanarayana puja. That day, he got a lot of money. He bought up fruits, milk, curd and honey. He performed the puja with his relatives and friends. With Lord Satyanarayana grace, he shared his poverty and lived content in life. Every month on the full moon day, he performed Satyanarayana puja and finally attained moksha salvation. In this manner, Maharshi Sudha explained the significance of Satyanarayana puja. The rishis again addressed Maharshi Sudha, Oh, the great one, please tell us about others with performed this puja. Maharshi Sudha continued one day, when the Brahmin was observing the Satyanarayana Vrata, a woodcutter entered his house and asked for water. He noticed that the Brahmin was performing a puja. He asked what puja was and what good it would bring. The Brahmin replied, This is called Satyanarayana Vrata. Anyone who observes this Vrata will get these riches. I have been bestowed with prosperity. The woodcutter was delighted to hear this. He learned the proper way to perform the puja. He also took the prasad that was offered and went his way. With Lord Satyanarayana, his mind, the woodcutter decided that he would observe the Vrata with whatever he wants. He was going to make by selling firewood that day. He went to that part of the city where rich people live. He sold firewood and made twice the normal profit. Pleased with his luck, he bought bananas, sugar, ghee, milk, curd, honey and wheat flour. He invited his friends and relatives and performed the Satyanarayana. By Lord Narayana grace, he acquired enormous wealth and life comfortability and attained moksha salvation. Sri Rama Satyanarayana Bhagavan ki Jai. Tadayodhyayam samapte Padamangala Vedhajanam Samprachayame. Trutayodhyayah.
Tell you another story. In the olden days there lived a wise king by the name Vrata. He had mastered all his senses and always spoke truth.
Can you be a little louder?
He used to go to the temple every day and give gifts to Brahmins. His lotus-faced wife was a pure and pious woman. One day, the royal couple was performing the Satyanarayana puja on the banks of the river Bhadrashila. At that time, a merchant called Sadhu sailed by. He saw the king perform some puja and stopped his boat. He got off and addressed the king humbly. "O king, would you kindly tell me what you are doing with such devotion and concentration?" The king replied, "O Sadhu, I have no children. I am worshipping the Almighty Lord Satyanarayan so that I may be blessed with children." On hearing the Sadhu speak humbly, "O king, please tell me how to perform the puja. I would like to observe the Vrata, as I too have no children." The king told him all the details. Sadhu returned home and with great joy told his wife about the Satyanarayana puja. They then decided to perform the puja after the child was born. Then the divine grace, Sadhu's wife, Leelavati, gave birth to a beautiful daughter. They named the child Kalavati. One day, Leelavati reminded her husband of his promise to perform the puja. Sadhu told his wife that he would do the puja at the time of his daughter's wedding and got busy with his work. In the meantime, Kalavati grew up into a lovely girl. Sadhu sent out messengers to find a suitable bridegroom for his daughter. One of his messengers found a good-natured and handsome boy in a Vaishya family from Kanchananagar. Sadhu found the boy to be a suitable match for Kalavati and celebrated his daughter's wedding in a grand manner. But Sadhu completely forgot about the Satyanarayana puja and angered Lord Satyanarayana. Lord Satyanarayana placed a curse on Sadhu. One day, Sadhu went on a business trip with his son-in-law. He stopped to trade at Ratnapur, which was ruled by King Chandraketu. At the time, some thieves robbed the king's treasury and were running away. The king's soldiers chased them. The frightened thieves threw all valuables they had robbed near Sadhu and escaped. Finding the king's treasure near Sadhu and his son-in-law, the king's soldiers arrested them and brought them to the king. The king ordered them to be chained and thrown into prison. Because of Lord Narayan's Maya, nobody even listened to what Sadhu had to say in his defense. King Chandraketu also took all their merchandise. Sadhu's wife was also affected by Lord Narayan's curse. Some robbers broke into her house and robbed everything. One day, Sadhu's daughter Kalavati was very hungry and went out in search of food. She wandered here and there and stopped at a house where Satyanarayana puja was being performed. She stayed at that place until the puja was over and took the prasad that was offered. When she reached home, it was late night. Leelavati asked her where she had been. Kalavati told her mother that she was listening to Satyanarayana Katha in somebody's house. Then Leelavati remembered her husband's promise to perform the puja. She decided to observe the Satyanarayana Vrata herself. She invited all her relatives and friends and prayed to Lord Satyanarayana to forgive their sins. Lord Satyanarayana was pleased with Leelavati's prayers. Lord Narayan appeared in King Chandraketu's dream. He ordered the king to release the two merchants from prison as they were not the real thieves. Lord Narayan warned the king that his kingdom, wealth, and children would all be destroyed if he failed to release Sadhu and his son-in-law. Next morning, the king told his counselors about the dream. He ordered Sadhu and his son-in-law to be brought before him. Sadhu and son-in-law were frightened and stood before the king with bowed heads. The king talked to them gently and said, "You two have suffered a great deal because of your fate, but there is nothing to fear." The king returned their merchandise, gave them new clothes and lots of gifts, and sent them home.
Shri Rama Satyanarayana Bhagavan ki Jai. Tridyoധ്യായം സമാപ്തേ. പദമന്തരവിഭാജനം സന്തതയാമി. ചതുർത്ഥോധ്യായഃ. Can you read it?
Sadhu and son-in-law loaded their boat with the riches given to them by the king and sailed homeward. Lord Satyanarayana wanted to bless the sadhus further. He took the form of a sage with a trident. He appeared before Sadhu and asked him what he was carrying in his boat. Sadhu did not realize that the sage was indeed Lord Narayana in disguise. He laughed mockingly and said, "You Brahman, were you thinking of stealing my things? We do not have any valuable in the boat except empty vessels." The sage replied, "O Sadhu, so be it." The sage then departed and stood by the seashore. Sadhu was horrified when he went into his boat and he saw the boat was filled with empty vessels just as he had falsely told the sage. Sadhu fainted seeing that boat. He was revived by his son-in-law. Son-in-law said, "This must be the curse of the sage. Let's go to him and ask him his forgiveness." The two merchants then went to the seashore where the sage was meditating. They fell at his feet and repeatedly begged for his forgiveness. Pleased by Sadhu's devotion, the sage said, "Sadhu, you suffered because you have broken your promise many times." On hearing this, Sadhu realized that sage was Lord Narayana and said, "O Lord, even Brahma and other devas cannot understand your form completely. With my limited knowledge, how can I? please show me your true form and bless me. Upon hearing his prayer, God was pleased and granted his wishes, restoring his merchandise in the boat and disappeared. The two merchants then joyfully sailed homewards. On reaching their hometown, they sent a message to their wives about their safe arrival. At that time, Leelavati and Kalavati were performing Satyanarayana Puja. Leelavati quickly finished the puja and asked her daughter to do so. Then she hurried to the seashore to meet her husband. Kalavati was eager to meet her husband. She forgot to take the prasad and rushed to the seashore.
Shri Rama Satyanarayana Bhagavan ki.
It's not good.
The angered Lord Satyanarayana, his Maya caused the ship and her husband to disappear in the sea. Not finding her husband, Kalavati started weeping. Everyone was wonderstruck and frightened. Sadhu did not know what to do. Thinking that it was Lord Narayana's Maya, he announced that he would perform Satyanarayana Puja and pray to the Lord. Lord Satyanarayana was pleased with Sadhu's devotion and said, "O Sadhu, your daughter did not take the prasad in the hurry to see her husband, so I made him and the boat disappear. Let her go home, take the prasad and return." On hearing this, Kalavati went home and took the prasad. When she returned to the seashore, she found her husband and the boat to be safe. Then Sadhu returned home happily. He performed the Satyanarayana Puja every full moon day with his relatives and friends. With God's grace, he enjoyed all the comforts in this world and finally attained salvation.
Shri Rama Satyanarayana Bhagavan ki jai. Chaturthodhyayam samapteti. Adamangala Neerajanam darshayami om. Mangala Neerajanam darshayami. Satyanarayana Bhagavan ki jai. Panchamodhyayah. Last chapter. Maharishi Suta continued to let me tell you another story of a king named Tundarpuja who suffered a lot after refusing the Satyanarayana prasad. One day after hunting, the king was resting under a shade tree. Some cohorts were happily performing the Satyanarayana Puja nearby. The king refused the prasad offered by cohorts. When he reached his place, he found that his kingdom, his 100 sons, his wealth and everything vanished. Then it occurred to him that Lord Satyanarayana was probably angry with him. He went back to the cohorts, prayed to Lord Satyanarayana and performed the puja with great devotion. Lord Satyanarayana showed his blessing and the king regained everything he had lost earlier. He lived happily and ultimately reached Vaikuntha. Maharishi Suta said, "O holy man, I have narrated to the Satyanarayana Katha, which was originally told by Lord Vishnu to Narada Mahamuni. By observing this Vrata, mankind can attain salvation in this Kali Yuga. Observance of the Vishnu, of the Vrata and lead to fulfillment of the wishes." This ended the narration of Maharishi Suta, after which Saunaka and other rishis returned to their respective places. Shri Rama Satyanarayana Bhagavan ki jai. Panchamadhyayam samapte. Adamangala Neerajanam darshayami. Om Mangalam Koshaventraya Mahaniyamunatmane. Chakravartanujaya Sarvabhaumaya Mangalam. Satyanarayana Bhagavan ki jai. Panchamadhyayam samapte. No need one. Jai Mata Di. Lot of water, be careful. Lot of water, be careful, dress. No need. साक्षात् तदेकं सन्दर्शयामि ॐ भूर्भुवस्सवाः सत्तर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि यो यो नः प्रचोदयात् सत्यन्तवात्तमेन परिषिञ्चामि अमृतमस्तं मृतोऽस्तरणमसिः महानैवेद्यसहितनारीकेरोपसहितकाश्मीरप्रवेदनं समर्पयामि श्रीरमासत्यनारायणस्वामिदेवतार्पितमस्तु ॐ प्राणाय स्वाहाय स्वां व्यानाय स्वां प्राणाय स्वां प्रमाणाय स्वां ब्रह्मणे स्वाहा देवते पानीयं समर्पयामि भगवद्देवतार्पितमस्तु उत्तराभोजनं पादौ वृक्षालयामस्तौ वृक्षालयामो वृक्षालयामि आनन्दं समर्पयामि श्रीरमासत्यनारायणस्वामिने नमः देवतादिभ्यः हरनिवेदनं समर्पयामि अथ देवताभ्यो नमः दिव्यमङ्गलभीभाजनं दर्शयामि मङ्गलाशासनपरै पदाचार्य पुरोगमै सर्वैः च पूर्वैः आचार्यै सद्गुरायास्तु मङ्गलम् बोलो सत्यनारायण भगवान् की अथ देवताभ्यो नमः नारायणाय विद्महे वासुदेवाय धीमहि तन्नो विष्णुः प्रचोदयात् महाविष्णुदेवताभ्यो न प्रदक्षिणं समर्पयामि यानि कानि च पापानि जन्मान्तरौतानि च तानि तानि नमश्यन्ते प्रदक्षिणं पदे पदे मापोऽहं पापकर्माणां पापात्मा पापसम्भवहं पाहि मां कृपया देव शरणागतवत्सल अन्यदा शरणं नास्ति त्वमेव शरणं मम तस्मात् कारुण्यभावेन रक्ष रक्ष जनार्दन दिव्यप्रदक्षिणनमस्कारान् सुवर्णदिव्यमन्त्रपुष्पान् समर्पयामि पुष्पं हृद्याचनयोक्तपूजाक्रियादिषु योगं सम्पूर्णतायन्ति सद्भावन्ते तमच्युतं मन्त्रहीनं क्रियाहीनं भक्तिहीनं सत्यदेव यत्पूजितं मया देव परिपूर्णं तदस्तु मे श्रीरमासत्यनारायणस्वामिने नमः सत्यदेव व्रतमहत्यपूजां समर्पयामि सर्वे जनाः सुखिनो भवन्तु सन्मङ्गलानि भवन्तु लोका समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु जय अम्बे माता की जय हर नमः पार्वतीपतये हर हर महादेव बोलो सत्यनारायण भगवान की जय दत्तना This chairs, this place. Everyone sit in the corner, right? So this chairs.
Yeah. That's just put him here. You know.
Every time is. Ratana. Chairs ikkada kaadu. Chairs ikkada villandaru కూర్చుంటారు ఇక్కడ. ఈ chairs అన్ని ఇక్కడ. అక్కడ.